If you want to maximize how much money you'll make with KDP this holiday season, also known as Q4, you have 2 weeks left to do just two things. Today is November 12th, and the holiday wave, the Christmas wave, starts the day after Thanksgiving. That's about 2 weeks away. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the last minute things you can do to improve and have an amazing Q4. My name is Dorian. I've made way over $1 million in royalties from KDP. You can see the proof in my videos on my channel. And I'm going to share with you what I've learned over the past 11 years of selling books on Amazon during Q4. I'm a big believer in pattern recognition. I think that's a fantastic way to learn. So I'm going to show you some examples of books that are ready for Q4 and that I think are going to do very well, and some books that are not ready and I don't think will do well at all, so that you can see the difference and notice the patterns and then take what you learn and apply it to your own books. I think this is going to be a good one. So first, I want to show you a metaphor. Here we have some surfers trying to catch a wave. Now, pretend that the one on the right is a book that has not been published yet. Well, it's too late. There's no way she can catch that wave. So the lesson is, if you still want to publish a book to try to catch the Q4 wave, the Christmas wave, don't bother. You're already too late. So instead, what I would do is focus on the books that you already have in place on Amazon. Now let's focus on the surfer in the middle. That surfer is not positioned well. He's too far behind the coming wave, and he's trying frantically to build momentum and catch up. Obviously, he was too late and he didn't catch it. Just don't let that be you. Now this guy on the left was exactly in the right position and had some momentum, so he easily caught the wave. This is exactly like Amazon. And just like in this metaphor, you need two things to be able to catch the Q4 holiday wave. The first thing is you need momentum, and that's your sales. You need sales momentum. The second thing is you need to be well positioned. That means that your cover and your sales page need to be optimized. And those are the two things we're going to focus on today. Now, before we get into the examples, let's take a quick look at the game. This is my drawing of the game. You may have seen it before. It represents how the game works on Amazon. Amazon is basically a funnel. You get notice at the top from organic and from advertising. And then some people click, and that's your click-through rate. Then this down here is your book listing, and that's where you have a chance to make a sale. So for the purpose of this discussion, your momentum is up here. That's your organic sales and your advertising. And this is something you should already have put into place. And right now, the biggest lever that you have to create more momentum is your advertising. Think of advertising as paddling so that you can catch the wave, so that it creates momentum. And hopefully you'll be doing it now so that when the wave starts in a couple weeks, you won't be frantically trying to catch up. Okay, and then this down here is your book listing. And this is where we're going to look at some examples of books that convert very well and compare them to books that are not optimized and probably won't do well. So let's go to Amazon. And I'm going to pick on chair yoga just because. I'm not really sure why. I just keep picking on this niche. So this is a search results page, and this is where we can see momentum. You can see on this page that some books are advertising heavily and that some have very good BSRs. That's sales rank. And they're showing up on this page organically. That's momentum. That's sales. That's how Amazon decides whether or not to show your book on this page. So if you don't have any momentum, you won't be seen on this page. And if you do have momentum, then you will be seen, and people will click on your book to find out more. And that brings us to the sales pages. We're going to look at two books that are doing really well. And by the way, with all the books that I show, if any of these are yours, if they're the good ones, then congratulations. And if they're the other ones, don't take it personally. This is a learning experience for all of us. We all make mistakes, and we can help each other. Your mistakes can help other people learn, and I hope that that's what you want. So for this first book, we saw that it was advertised pretty heavily on the search results page. It was also showing up organically, so this book already has momentum. And if you look at all the things that help people make a decision about whether to buy this book is doing really well. It's super well optimized. So on this page, we're going to look at the cover, the title, the pricing, the description, and a bunch of other stuff. Let's start with the cover. The cover is fantastic. They've clearly hired someone who knows what they're doing with covers, and I believe that they've tested this cover as well. That's what I would do to make sure that the cover is working really well. The reason I think it's been tested is because there are a lot of very clear signals here and not a lot of fluff. So when you hover over this, you see the numbers are highlighted very well so that you can see them even in thumbnail size. There's just a lot of little signals and messages here. Look at that, the little battery, 15 years younger. That's a fantastic signal. And a lot of that works subconsciously. Some of it works very directly. And for this niche, I think this book cover is fantastically designed. So that's the value of a good cover. The title, there's not much you can do to optimize the title. It's already set in stone, but it's a very clear title. It's a keyword title. It tells you who it's for, what the benefits are. Good title. Next is the pricing. Well, the pricing is, it's high enough that this author is making some money. And this book is, I think, near the top of the range for the pricing. So your pricing, you want that to be within the range for the niche. Some niches have higher pricing than others. This one seems to be somewhere between $12 to $16, $17. And this book is kind of in the mid to high end of that range. What this tells me is that it's a good value and that it also is high quality because it's not at the bottom of the range. So this thing is well priced. Let's look at the description. The description has a very clear headline, but there's a lot of emojis, and this is very clearly written by AI. It's not that bad. At least there's a lot that your eye can see very easily. So there's some white space in between the paragraphs. There are some bold words, so your eye can very easily go through this. It's not a wall of text. That's kind of hard to read. So that's pretty good. Next thing is the author's name. Alex Harper. Well, that sounds very familiar. It's not hard to pronounce, not hard to read. So that's a winner as far as I'm concerned. With an author name, if the name is kind of weird, if it's difficult to understand or read, people are people. People get skittish and they may just bounce. Okay, the next thing is the A+. Here we have professional looking A+. It's clear. The fonts are not too big. There's a lot of space in here so you know what to look at. There are some people, which I think is a great idea because it shows the idealized customer and people want to see better versions of themselves, right? So they see this, handsome guy and beautiful woman, and this is very aspirational. So if I was in the market for this book, I would think, yeah, I want to be part of this group, even though they're AI. So there's some good stuff going on here. They're actually showing what's on the inside of the book, and the book looks like it's pretty useful because it has different charts and diagrams and that kind of thing. It also shows a bonus, which is the video course and some really good social proof about 1 million copies sold. So this thing is firing on all cylinders. It's great A+. Now the next thing is the editorial. So a lot of people miss this part of their listing, but this author is taking advantage of it. Looks like they have, I hope, real reviews. A lot of people put fake reviews here. This looks like it's coming from different magazines. So hopefully these are real. We never really know. The next thing that I like is there is a From the Author section, which is a fantastic place to put questions and answers. The reason this is important is because this will feed the robots. So in other words, this is really good for SEO. You can put your keywords in here. You can put use cases in here. What is this book used for? What are the benefits? You can put all those in here, and then Amazon gets a better understanding of your book. And then also people might read it and feel like this is the book for them. The categories look like they are appropriate. That's good. Product videos. So this is also known as UGC, so user-generated content. This is becoming more and more important. What it does is it gives you a sense that there's life, that there are people looking at this book, enjoying it, talking about it. That's really important. It shows activity. And the best source that I found for these videos is to find Amazon influencers and ask them to review your book. And oftentimes they'll do it, or they may take some payment for it. It's okay. They are influencers. They are allowed to do that, and you can find them on Fiverr. Okay, the next thing is the About the Author. So they've got a nice looking picture of the author here, probably fake. That's just how it is these days on Amazon. I've already talked about the name. It's familiar sounding, which is a good thing for this particular audience. What I want to feel as a customer is that I'm in the right place. So I'm looking for someone who has the credentials, the experience, and who understands my problem and can solve it. So I want to feel like this author is competent and that I'm confident about the quality of the book. That's pretty much it. So anything in here that helps me feel that is good. Consider this to be copywriting because that's what that is. Okay, next section is going to be reviews. And this book is doing pretty well with reviews. There are over 100 reviews, which is completely adequate. You can even start selling your book with 10 reviews. Just as long as there's enough social proof there, and as long as the book, it looks like a quality book and it's very clearly a high quality book, even a small number of reviews can be enough, at least to get started. And I'm seeing here a lot of check marks in this section here. That's good. You want to see check marks and not little red X's. Little red X's are bad. It tells the customer there's a problem. Now, another thing here is that there is one image. It would be great if there were more photos and even some videos. The photos and videos here come from the reviews themselves. You cannot post them. The reviewers have to post them. So you should have at least one image here. At least strive for one. And in terms of what kinds of images to put here, anything that shows people using the book and people happy, that's all good. If it creates a feeling of people being happy and using the book, that's what you want. So we've just looked at all of these factors on the book listing. If you can do all the things on this list to optimize your book, then you'll be in the best position you can be to catch that wave and make more sales. Let's look at another book. So this book is also really well set up and optimized. The cover is kind of weird, admittedly, but this book is selling like gangbusters, and it's been around a lot longer than most of the other books. And I think that's why this cover is working. I think if this book launched today with a cover like this, I don't think it would work very well. I think it needs a little more. But if you look at the rest of this listing, they've got a pretty good description. Their pricing is within range. They have a ton of reviews, which is really important. And they have very clear A+. It shows photos, whether they're real or not, of people actually doing the exercises. It shows what's inside the book. The content of the book seems to be pretty reasonable. And the A+ is not too cluttered. I can actually read what's going on. Now, one of the things that the previous book did not have is we have some text in the A+. That also is really good to feed the robots. So it feeds the algorithm. It helps with the book's SEO, and that's really important if you want organic sales. Another thing this book is doing right is that it has product videos, also known as UGC. And about the authors, this is interesting. There's an author you don't really know very much about, and then you have star publications. So I don't think this is optimized, but the book is selling very well, so clearly it's not a problem for this book. And then we get to the customer reviews. There are a ton of them. The rating is not so bad. At least it's at 4.3. And if you're at 4.3 or above, then you get the 4.5 stars. If it falls below 4.3, then this is just going to show up as 4 stars, and that's going to turn into a problem. I'm looking at the check marks here. There's a bunch of green check marks, which is good, but I see a red mark here. Oftentimes, especially if it's about the picture quality, oftentimes this has to do with the Kindle book. And I know that for nonfiction, a lot of times the paperback sells a lot more than the Kindle. So just be aware if you have any picture or formatting problems with your Kindle book, make sure that you take care of it. Otherwise, it could show up as a problem here in this section of the reviews. And of course, this book has one image. It'd be nice if they had more, but again, they are doing pretty well. Their sales rank is good. It's 4,000 something. So yeah, this book is doing well. It's pretty well optimized. Let's have a look at another book. So this book has some good things and some bad things. So the first thing that I notice here is that the cover is very simplistic, and to me, to my eye, it does not look professional. It's just kind of bland. So this cover clearly was not tested. If it had been tested, I think it would lose. So this author is missing a lot of signals that we saw in the first book. So if you're just entering a niche like this, you have to have a much better cover than this. So this is not optimized. What I would do is I would redesign it. I would test the design and make sure that I have a very strong cover. Okay, next thing is the description. It's okay. There's a little bit of wall of text happening here. It's not as bad as some that I've seen, but I would improve it. It's kind of dull compared to some of the other descriptions that we saw. Okay, the pricing. Well, $9.99, we are seeing a book that has low pricing. So to me, when I see this price and I compare it to the other books that we just saw, this looks like a low price book, and I'm perceiving this as low quality, and most other people would too. There's no A+, so that is a missed opportunity. The A+ shows what's inside the book. It helps generate some excitement and some desire for the book, but there's none of that here, and that's going to cost the author some sales. There are no videos, and it's so easy. Just click this button over here, upload a video of the book. Now, you cannot do that as the author yourself, but other people can, and as I said earlier, the Amazon influencers are really the best ones to do that. Okay, let's go down to the reviews. Well, at least there's 26 reviews, and they look pretty good. So this book has some work to do in order to be optimized. Okay, let's look at the next book. So I think you could probably start making some guesses at this point. The cover looks like it really needs a lot of help. It needs reviews. It only has 3 reviews. The description is badly formatted and just looks like a wall of text right here. When you scroll down, you see some A+ that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It has fake, weird looking AI woman in there and just looks very amateurish. Yeah, so to me this is kind of creepy and is not effective at all. It just looks like an amateur job. And of course, if the cover looks like it was done by an amateur and the A+ looks very amateur, I'm going to assume that the content of the book also is amateur. Now, the editorial reviews look fake. Who knows whether they are or not. There are no UGC videos. Now, at least they put some effort into the About the Author section, so that's good. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it looks like it gives the impression that I'm in the right place, right? Someone who understands the problem and has some experience and can help me. And of course, the reviews, there's only 3. So this needs a lot of work. It is definitely not ready. I would not advertise this book. I would not expect much from this book. Okay, let's look at the next one. So here we go. Okay, with this book, I think the problems are pretty clear. The cover is pretty gross looking. The title, I'm not even sure what this is. 28 Days Chair Yoga for Seniors Chart. So it's not a book, it's a chart? What is that? Oh, okay. And if you look at the cover, 28 day, singular, and in the title, 28 days, which is a careless mistake, and it's bad English as well. So scrolling down, there's no A+. At least they got this part right. They got from the author, they have some Q&A so that they can insert some SEO onto this page. So at least they did that. And the author name looks familiar. And there's something there that might help me feel like I'm in the right place. And only 1 review, and it's not that good of a review. So I think it's pretty clear this book needs a lot of work before it is ready for prime time. Now the next one. Chair Yoga for Seniors over 60 has a very generic looking cover. It looks like all the other covers in this niche. No reviews. The pricing is strange, $13. So if you study marketing, you will know that $12.99 works better than $13. That's consumer psychology. $12.97, $12.99, those are the magic numbers. $13 is not. So that's a simple fix there. There's no A+. No reviews. All right, so do you get the pattern? Can you see what's going on here? And finally, the last example. This looks like a one-shot AI cover. Someone typed in, make me a chair yoga cover, and this is what they got, and they just went with it. So it's, there's low effort. And at this point, why? Just why even publish? Why even take up space on Amazon? So we've gone from a book that is firing on all cylinders, that's optimized in every single way that it can be, to a book that has the least amount of effort I've seen in a while. And can we make some assumptions about which books are going to do well for Q4? Absolutely. So All you need to do now is look at your books, look at the patterns that we learned from looking at these books, and simply go through the list and optimize. And if you do that, you will certainly make more money than if you don't. So over the next 2 weeks, focus on this list, get some sales momentum behind your book, and make sure it's optimized. And if you'd like a more comprehensive list of what to optimize on your Amazon page and how to do it, then check the description below for a link to my Q4 optimization cheat sheet. It's free, and there are a bunch of other resources and some free training you can get when you go there. Hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I always read all the comments, and I try to respond to all of them as well. So remember, get some sales momentum behind your books, optimize your listings, and you'll be ready for Q4.